Hi everyone, so I'm making this video because today is July 2020, and I'm flying from New York JFK to Taiwan in the middle of a global pandemic. So I thought it would be interesting just to document my process, and I actually just booked my ticket an hour or two ago. It's 3 p.m. In the afternoon. My flight is technically at 1:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, but I'll be checking into the airport and checking in for my flight later tonight. And so obviously it's an interesting time. I don't think it's normal to book a ticket for your flight, for a 15-hour flight specifically, 8 hours before you're planning on checking in for it. And that had everything to do with coronavirus and just the current situation that we're in, specifically the fact that the Taiwanese government requires you to get a negative test result from a test taken within 3 days of your actual flight date. And I can talk a little bit more about that later on and how that process went for me, but clearly it was pretty stressful considering I literally just booked my ticket for my flight tonight. So I'll talk about that more a little bit later on, but I thought it would be interesting to try and capture what the whole process is like of checking in, being on the flight, and getting to the quarantine hotel. So stay tuned if you want to see what this journey has been like for me. So I just got to my hotel room not too long ago, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little room tour. So the first thing that I did when I entered the room was the person who had greeted me downstairs in the basement instructed me to just fill out those documents on that table over there. So I did that. It's not really any information that's different from what you already filled out before arriving to the hotel. So it's like health information, payment information, contact information. So I did that and sent it to them over line, and this is what the entryway of the hotel looks, my hotel room looks like. I'm staying at S Hotel in Taipei, and over here is a little desk area, so it won't be working during quarantine. I can't per my firm's policy, but I have some few things that I have to finish up, so I can do that work over here. In this area, it looks like there is a speaker over here, so I can use that. That'll be nice to play my music and make my quarantine a little more enjoyable. Over here, there's another sitting area. Oh, I didn't even realize. This is so cute. There's a little greeting sign on the TV with my name on it, so that's very sweet of them. This is a little sitting area with another table over here, so I could also lounge around there if I want. Over here, there's some snacks, which are really nice of them to provide. Some garbage bags, a digital thermometer. I do have to take my temperature once in the morning, once at night, and send that information to them. And then it looks like there's some disinfectant spray here as well. This is another little sitting chair, which is nice, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I chose S Hotel was because, well, one, it's so bright, there's so much sunlight, and the second reason is just because there's a few different areas that I could see myself lounging around in, whether it's the desk, this area, or I can also pull up this chair and sit in that so I wouldn't feel like I'm stuck in one place the whole time. And then this is the little kitchenette area over here. So there's some wine glasses, a few mugs, a coffee maker. I don't really drink coffee, but that's nice of them to provide. Water bottles and some glasses, as well as an electric kettle. And then I believe this is the mini fridge. Yep. Looks like there's some sodas and, oh, it actually looks like there is some Taiwan beer here as well. I don't drink beer, but I might try this while I'm here, but super nice of them to provide this as well. This is the bed. I got a double bed. They do have rooms with either double beds or twin beds available. That's confirmed at the time you make the reservation, so you can ask them which bed you'll have in your room. And I was lucky to get a double. Here is the closet. It's just behind the curtain, but I think it's functional. It has a hanger with hangers, and then I can probably put my luggage down there or on top of that. It's a pretty decent size as well. Enough storage for 2 weeks for sure. And this is an overview of the bathroom. So here, I think this is the toilet. Yep, there's a lot of mirrors in here, as you can see. This is the toilet, pretty simple, modern, clean. It's kind of the theme of the whole room, which I really like. And then there's a door to that. And then over here you have some amenities, so tissues, toilet paper, some extra towels. This is the sink, and it looks like there's some S Hotel branded amenities, which I'll be trying out, or toiletries. Over here, you have lots of water bottles. It does come with, the room comes with unlimited water bottles, and I did feel like it was a waste to be drinking out of water bottles for 2 straight weeks, but to be honest, I contemplated bringing my Brita. It was just, my luggage was overweight and I honestly had no room, so I guess I'll have to stick with these for a few weeks. The hair dryer, a hair dryer, and then I believe this is the shower. Yep. Again, pretty modern, minimalistic, and clean. And yeah, that's pretty much the room tour. I'll do a little overview one last time. So it's officially my 3rd day in quarantine, and now that I've kind of settled in a little bit, I thought it would be helpful to talk through what the whole process was like in terms of checking in for the flight, what it was like on the plane, and also what the protocols were once I landed in Taiwan. So in checking in for the flight, you first have to fill out a survey where you have to just provide your contact information where you'll be staying, and then also just confirming you haven't shown any symptoms recently. And then they also take your temperature. This is also when you have to give your COVID-19 test result, and I personally faced so much confusion with this, so I had a lot of questions for her because I had called like the embassy, and I had also talked to Eva Air, like their customer service, just to kind of clarify, you know, what exactly the requirements were in terms of presenting a negative COVID-19 test result. And both of them just kept referring me back to the government website. I just felt like there was a lot of room for interpretation though. And so I really wasn't sure, because it says that the test has to be issued within 3 business days of your flight date. And so one, I wasn't sure, does flight date mean the day you check in or the day your actual flight departs? Because mine were different. I was checking in Monday night around 10 or 11 p.m. and my flight wasn't leaving until Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. It turns out that it's your actual flight date. So for me, it was Tuesday morning. And then my second question was what the definition of issued is. Does that mean that your report date is within 3 business days of your flight date, or does that mean you're actually taking the test within 3 business days of your flight and also getting a report within that time? I kind of went crazy over this because the turnaround times in New York currently are pretty long because there's a high volume of people getting tested. So a lot of the turnaround is like 5 to 7 days, or even 7 days at minimum. I ended up taking like 4 tests last week because I was just frantic. I just had no idea what the requirements were and I was just confused. So I was trying to cover all my bases. And I asked the lady helping me at Eva Air, and she said that in Chinese and English it actually sounds different, or it kind of translated differently into English. And what it's meant to convey is that your report date needs to be within 3 business days of your flight date. So I took the test on July 16th and I got the report back on July 20th. And I didn't buy my ticket until after I got my report back because I wasn't sure if I would get the test back, and I thought that was the requirement. That's the whole reason I waited until the last minute to purchase my plane ticket. But she said that the date on my report, 7/20, would be what they would be looking at in terms of that 3 business day requirement. So it was helpful to clarify that because that was really stressful for me. And then the flight was good. It was pretty empty, so I personally had a whole row to myself. Everyone, for the most part, had a whole row to themselves. Unless you're traveling with someone, then there will probably be 1 seat in between you. And all the flight attendants were wearing protective gear like gowns, goggles, gloves, and masks, obviously. And then once you landed in Taiwan, the first thing you had to do was fill out the same survey that you filled out prior to checking in, again with your location, your contact information, and just confirming you have no symptoms. So that was a little bit confusing because I was using the airport Wi-Fi and they have you scan a QR code that links to the survey, and I was able to complete the survey and submit it. But after you submit the survey, you're supposed to be getting a text that has a link that will show your confirmation. And I didn't get that text, so I asked someone who was helping everyone, and she said I either had to turn off airplane mode or I had to get a SIM card. So I chose to get a SIM card. I got a plan that was 30 days of unlimited data and 50 minutes of call time, and it was 1,000 Taiwan dollars, so around like 33 US dollars, I believe, something like that. So it wasn't too expensive. So I redid the survey, submitted it, I got the confirmation text, and then I was able to go through immigration, and again they confirmed where I was staying and my contact information. And then after that, I went to the baggage claim, and on the carousel there's a big sign that says, like, pardon the delay, we're disinfecting your bags. But I really didn't have to wait that long for my bag, given that I had to take the survey and get the SIM card and all of that. And I could tell when I got my bag it had been sprayed down because it was wet. So after I got my bags, I went outside to the area for taxis. You can either take a taxi, you can arrange for your own public transport, or have private transport, or have a relative or friend pick you up. But you definitely you're not allowed to take any public transport from the from the airport. So I took a taxi, and again I had to fill out another form where I was staying, my contact information, confirming I had no symptoms. And then they sprayed down my luggage again for a second time, and they also sprayed me down from like head to toe, like literally the bottoms of my shoes were sprayed. So that felt, I mean, it was kind of extreme, but it also is obviously a safety precaution. And then I got in the cab and brought me to my hotel, S-Hotel, where I am now. The ride I think was 13 or 1,300 or 1,400 Taiwan dollars, but they cap it at $1,000, 1,000 Taiwan dollars. So again, around $33 US dollars. So I only had to pay 1,000. And yeah, here I am. I've been at the hotel for a few days now and have settled in. It's been really comfortable here. The food is really good. The service is really good, and the room is super nice, very comfortable and clean, and I definitely have no complaints. The front desk calls me every morning and night to check on my temperature. So in the morning they'll ask me for my temperature, and then they'll also just confirm what my meal choices are for the next day. You have 2 options for each meal, like an Asian option and then a non-Asian option. So between those 2, there's usually something that I like. And then they also will ask if you need any pillows, drinks, anything like that, and they can bring it right up to you. So yeah, I've really enjoyed my stay here, and I'm really glad I ended up picking this hotel. So since I've been in the room for a few days now, there's a few things that I discovered that I didn't know when I was initially doing the room tour that I thought would be nice to show you guys. The first thing is this control panel right here. It controls all the lights. So if you see now, I have basically all the lights on, but if I wanted to click, for example, like scene 2, it will dim a bunch of the lights and just give a different vibe to the room. So I just like that you can really control the lights with the press of one button, because there are a bunch of lights here. And then another thing I realized was that I thought this was just decoration because they're on either side of the bed. But if you actually push on this, it's a little reading light. So if you want to read in bed, that's super convenient. And then another cool feature is in the bathroom. So I thought this was a normal toilet, but the toilet seat's actually heated, and it's also actually a bidet. I personally haven't been using those features, but it is available. And then the last thing that I just wanted to show was over here. This is on the control panel from before as well. It says blind and drape, and so if I click the blind button, you can close the blinds. Then if I click the drape button, it closes the drapes. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully this was helpful, and thank you for watching.